All right, I'm going to try this one out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to say intelligent things. So take this with a grain of salt. And also, know that there are lots of worse... So I think a general problem we have is that when we like talk about why other people are wrong, it's like binary. And so it's like people who hate people because of the color of their skin, wrong, is different from people who think that climate change isn't real, wrong. Like, there's different things. And like, I'm more forgiving of one than the other. Can you guess which? I hope so. I think that every time we disagree, we should assign a number score to how much the disagreement actually upsets us. Because I think we have a really bad thing where we think that all disagreement is equal. It's not. And just because you disagree with someone doesn't mean you can't like come together right now and support each other, do interesting things, even if you disagree about some things. That's where I'm starting from. I made a video a couple weeks ago about how I felt an amount of guilt due to the advantages I've been given, and not like I should, not that I should, just that I do, and that possibly I should use that guilt in positive ways. So not to let it turn into shame, not to let it make me afraid of doing things with the power that I have, but to enable me and to empower me to try and do good things with the power that I have. And a lot of people left very similar comments on this video. When this happens, it tends to be because someone somewhere created a think piece or a hot take, and that people are like, ah, good, I'm going to use that. So I assume somewhere out there is a think piece or a hot take or a viral tweet that says, everybody who feels guilty about the advantages that were given to them by their parents and their grandparents and all the way back, why don't you feel grateful instead? I assume something to that effect. Because a lot of people said, I don't feel guilty, I feel grateful. Why can't you, instead of feeling guilty, feel grateful for the advantages that you were given? I haven't read this think piece, I haven't found it. I assume it's out there somewhere. So I've only read comments that have this perspective in them. This is a dumb perspective, like it's a dumb argument. And again, I disagree with the argument because it's not well formed. I'm not saying you're a bad person. I disagree with the argument because like these are unrelated objects. They're just not the same thing. I can feel both of those emotions, and also like we are not in control of our emotions. And it's not shame. It's not like, I'm not ashamed of myself. I'm not ashamed of my wealth. But like, I can be motivated by injustice. I can recognize injustice and recognize that on the injustice curve, where justice is here, I'm over here where the good stuff is. And there are lots of people over here where the bad stuff is. I can recognize that I'm over here and that I worked for some of it, but not for most of it. And like, act accordingly. I can also feel grateful to the hard work of the people that I love and who love me and who gave me the best possible life by giving me great values, by giving me, like putting me on the track for a great education, for, always supporting me when I needed support. I'm so grateful for my parents and my grandparents and my cousins and my aunts and uncles, and all, like, my family's great. And I was just so surprised by this, that it kept coming up over and over again. I was like, why is this bad take? Like, why is this sort of nonsensical argument showing up over and over again? And ultimately, it's because it sounds nice. It's like, okay, I can discard my fear about being on the wrong side of the inequality curve by just saying, the people who I love and respect and should love and respect worked hard to give that for me, so I should honor them by perpetuating injustice? I don't think that's the people what the people who I am grateful to would want me to do. And maybe that's different for you. But if this is something that like appeals, or that has come up and you've been like, okay, yeah, to some extent I think that might just be like giving us an excuse to not worry about it. Because let me put it this way. If you're saying instead of feeling guilty, feel grateful, let me rephrase that. Instead of feeling like you should recognize injustice and act in accordance with that, feel thankful to the people who have loved you. Does it sound like those things have anything to do with each other?
¿Por qué no los dos?
Introduce